Today, I want to talk to you about being ginger and the co-culture that comes with that. Now, you might be thinking, how is that a co-culture? Don't you just have red hair? Well, that's not really how it works. And here's some examples of what I mean. This is a redhead. This is a ginger. Redhead, ginger. Hopefully you can see the difference between them at this point. Basically, all gingers are redheads, but not all redheads are ginger. To be a ginger, you have to have red hair, but you also need freckles and very light skin. And part of that is because we're actually a genetic mutation. According to the Cosmopolitan, gingers are the way they are because of a skin pigment deficiency, which makes it to where our body doesn't produce melanin normally. It comes in the form of spots, which is where we get our freckles, and then everything else doesn't have protection, so we get sunburned very easily, which is also why we're more likely to get skin cancer, because we don't have those natural protections that everybody else has. Also, according to the Cosmopolitan, gingers are actually only 1 to 2% of the world's population, which means we're rare. And I can attest to that. Here's a picture of my family. As you can see, I am the only ginger among any of them. That's because it is a recessive gene. Basically, both parents have to carry it, and then you have a 1 in 4 chance of being it, and I was lucky enough to be one. Now, still, you might be asking, how is that a co-culture? Like, you just look a little different. Well, I'm not lying when I say that this has affected my life in more ways than you can possibly imagine. Because nobody thinks about the fact that, gingers are different from everybody else, but we're still the butt of a joke a lot of the time. And that goes back to a long history of people essentially considering us both good and bad depending on what culture you're a part of. Some people see gingers as good, very lucky, very attractive, but other cultures see us as evil. I'm sure all of you have heard the saying, gingers don't have souls, and that's because there's an old history where gingers were either people who made deals with the devil or people who practiced witchcraft and were to be burned at the stake. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, that's ancient history, right? Not necessarily. There are still plenty of parts of the world where being ginger is both good and bad, depending on, where you live. In parts of Poland, if you walk down the street and you see 3 gingers pass you, well, you're supposed to get a lottery ticket because that is the luckiest thing that can happen to you in those parts. But in some parts of France, if a ginger walks past you, you need to spit on him, otherwise you're going to have a very unlucky day for the rest of your day. Now, you can think that that's just different parts of the world has different cultures, that doesn't happen in America. Well, not so much. A lot of people do kind of think that gingers are weird in America as it is. I've been the recipient of a lot of, gingers are a weird thing. And that kind of segues into a little game I want to play with everybody. This is called, What Have They Actually Told Me in Public? I'm going to give you 3 things that people may have actually said to me in public, and you need to guess which one of these was something that somebody actually said. And mind you, these are complete strangers who I don't know. A, I've never met a ginger who isn't an asshole. B, I could never date a ginger. They're icky. C, do the carpets match the drapes? I've always been curious. Have you taken a guess? Well, your guess is wrong, because I have been told all 3 of these things multiple times in my life, and it was considered acceptable because I'm ginger. Now, you might be thinking, why does this matter? It doesn't. People kind of single people out depending on different traits all the time. We see it throughout all of history. But I don't think it's weird to say that this has affected my life in so many ways. So the next time you do see a ginger on the street, just treat them better and don't spit on them.